So if you're dealing with a heavy camera setup like I am, I'm gonna go over some of these tips to help you out, man, because I'm telling you, if you set these in your gimbal, you're gonna get the smoothest shots possible. And I'm not talking about ninja walks or nothing like that. We're talking about the actual settings within the gimbal. And one of the points, you can't access it on the gimbal. You have to download the app. So stay tuned for that. So the first tip in this video is gonna be the motor parameters. And I'm telling you, if you set the right motor parameters, you are gonna get the smoothest shots. Now, if you go to the top left where you go to calibrate, by the way, you shouldn't calibrate your gimbal like this. I mean, you can, and it's not wrong, but there's a better way, and we'll get into that as well. So watch this. I'm gonna go ahead and put the tilt all the way down to 5 and watch how responsive that camera gimbal is right there. It's just moving the tiniest little touch. You don't want that because it's gonna be able to see every single movement. What you wanna do is you wanna set it up a little higher, especially with me because I have a heavier camera. I'm gonna go ahead and set this up to 70. All right, so now I have it up to 70, and now watch when I go to touch the camera, look at that. It's like not even moving. I'm putting the same amount of force on there, and it's basically not even moving. Now, you don't wanna set it too high because if you set it too high, you might see all the little tiny micro jitters, and you don't wanna set it too low because every time you take a step or you move the camera around, it's gonna wobble and move. So a sweet spot is around 60 to 70. So go ahead and change the tilt, roll, and pan, and I'm telling you, man, that's gonna make a world of difference in your smooth, stable shots. All right, so the next tip on this list is probably the best one out of all of them when you're talking about moving backwards or moving forwards, and that is the follow speed. A lot of times as a wedding filmmaker, I'm holding my camera like this and I'm walking backwards, and you know what happens every single time you do that? You look behind to make sure you're not gonna fall over and look like a complete idiot in front of everybody. So as you're looking behind, what ends up happening is you obviously go to turn, and not knowing it really, you're turning the gimbal like this. So when you set the follow speed and you want to turn a little bit without the gimbal moving, this is how to do that. Again, showing you an example of what this looks like. Look what I have it set at. I have it set at the slow follow speed, and watch the gimbal. As I turn it, it will slowly move the gimbal, not right away as soon as you turn your hand. But if you were to go ahead and set it to fast, watch the gimbal now and how quickly it will move when I turn my hands. It's basically moving right away. As soon as I move the gimbal, it like moves right away. It's when I'm twisting my hands. So this is not what you want when you're basically doing a wedding and you're walking backwards, because every time you look behind you, you'll turn your hands. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. So if you wanna be able to turn and twist your hands like this without it moving really quickly like this, put the follow speed down low. I have mine set to a custom at 14. That's just my personal preference. Real quick, I wanna throw in here, I'm doing a contest. I wanna see your videos and I'm gonna give away prizes. Not quite sure what those prizes yet are gonna be, but they're gonna be good prizes. Maybe just like cash or something like that. But I'm doing a thing called Wedding Wars. I wanna see your wedding videos, and I'm gonna go a little bit further here and say, I don't want these wedding videos because I've already had a few submissions and they're like, the wedding videos are like an hour long. I don't wanna see an hour long wedding video. 7 minutes, 8 minutes tops, something like that. A cinematic trailer. And I'm gonna give away a first and second and third prize. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and send me an email. It will be in the description. And when you send the email, just put the title as Wedding Wars Submission. Tip number 3 is to calibrate the gimbal properly. This is what a lot of people do. They go to the home screen and they just go to the top left and they go to that gimbal and they press start calibration. Now, you can do this and it's not really the wrong way to do it, but there's a better way to calibrate this gimbal. It moves all around and gives basically the best calibration possible. I'm gonna show you how to do that. So if you go to the home screen of your gimbal, swipe down, you'll see on the bottom right, that's the settings. Scroll down further and you'll see Gimbal Auto Check. What this is gonna do, it's going to twist and turn and bend and make sure you get a proper balance everywhere. Hey, how's it going? I realized while editing this video that the joystick speed and smoothness is a really good tip as well. If you have the smoothest set at a like 15, custom 15 is what I have, you can move that bad boy and it just moves really slow and smooth. Back to the video. So this is the next tip that I was teasing earlier about how you can only access this tip. And this is a really important one, especially if you're dealing with heavier camera rigs like what I'm dealing with. Now, when you download the Ronin app, you can go in and you can set the motor parameters. So this time, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the advanced setting this time, and we're gonna go to the not stiffness, but strength. And we're gonna set basically the strength. The strength, you might be like, what's the difference between stiffness and strength? Well, the strength refers to how heavy like the camera is and how heavy the gimbal can operate for a camera, whereas stiffness refers to like where it can bend and move around, things like that. I've went ahead and I've customized this because I've tested it out several times. I've tested out how smooth it operates, and I always like that sweet spot where my gimbal is not gonna vibrate and shake while I'm using it. So I've actually went to the strength setting and I put in customization for me because of the heavy gimbal setup that I have. And I actually put the tilt, roll, and pan all at 30. So like I said, this can only be accessed through the phone. You cannot access the advanced feature on the gimbal itself. You have to download the app and access it through the app. So tip number 5 is honestly like tip number 5, but like 5 points within that 5, and they're gonna go over these really quick. If you're using a heavy camera rig like this, put a lens support on here. That lens support does wonders for smooth, stable shots, because when that lens support is on there, the lens has a tendency to kind of pull the camera forward a little bit because it's just a little bit bendy like that. But when you put that support on there, it really gives that extra kind of like stable shots. If you're wanting to get super smooth shots, make sure you're shooting in 60 frames per second so you can slow that down. Obviously, other tips, and I'm not gonna go on about this, like I said, but using a wider angle, like a 15 mil. The gimbal stabilizes the camera, not you. You had to learn the ninja walk, you have the body movements. I had this guy once that I hired for videography, and he would leave the gimbal on his hip while walking, and you would get all the micro jitters. You can't do that. Hold it out, hold it steady, don't put it to your body so it's resting on your body. These are all tips that are gonna help you get really super smooth shots. All right guys, so that's it for this video. If you made it this far, put down in the comments gimbal, and I know that you're a part of the 1% of the society that will start something and will finish it. That's it, I'm out. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Take care, I'll see you in the next video.